Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my friend show, Deep Cuts. We're joined tonight by a grifter from Portland, Maine, Neil Madeline Albright Attfield, probably one of my best friends in all the world. Just a just a true painter extraordinaire. Been robbing the Upper West Side of Portland for the better part of 10 years. And I am really happy to see him. I haven't seen him in a long time.
I know.
It's been a fucking bummer, man.
Hey, man. COVID's been a bitch.
COVID's a bitch. COVID's over, man. Fuck COVID. COVID's such a fucking. COVID's a hoax.
Fake news.
Fake news. I'm so tired of that shit, dude. Can we get over it? Can you? I guess we should probably start with just a little background. Can you let everybody know how long we've known each other?
I met Donald Brown when I was, I think, 15 years old, rolling into a annual camping trip that Donald had been a part of since he was a baby. And so I guess I've known Don now for 22 years?
22 long years, yeah.
Something like that. Something in that wheelhouse. We've known each other for a while. We've done some fun stuff together, and now we have kids together. The kids are actually asleep upstairs right now.
We don't have kids together.
They got the melatonin. We gave them the melatonin, and now the kids are sleeping. Yeah, we've gone through a lot of. We went through high school, college, all these experiences together. I mean, remember getting married.
Do you remember meeting for the first time? I do, but what was it like coming into that scenario for the first time? That must have been wacky, dude. You came from a different world than what we were living in at that time.
Yeah, I came from a upper middle class parochial family. You know, we went to church on Sundays.
Do you sing the hymns?
I took a knee for the priests. I was never an altar boy.
Altar boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Took a knee.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yes. Okay.
But I definitely remember the first time I ever met Donald Frederick Brown. Corduroy pants.
With the fat lines. Anyone who wears thin line corduroys is not to be trusted. Fat line corduroys are the only type of corduroys that you wear. But continue.
Yeah, but it was the formative years. I was 15 or something and never drank a beer. I was getting towed down to what I thought was a camping trip with my then best friend, who
still best friend.
He just said,
"Yeah,
trust me, man. This is gonna be great. You're gonna love this." And
you don't like these people, yeah.
And to his credit, some crazy shit went down, but Donald Brown always been my best from that day forward.
I think my favorite story from meeting you that kind of like back in the good old days of being 15 and 16, because I am 1 year older than you guys,
Mm-hmm.
is when we were sitting at the picnic table and we had just smoked a ton of pot, and it was kind of all of our not our first time, not at least not my first time smoking pot, but I know it was kind of like the first time that we were getting stoned, and you were sitting there and you were like, "Not even feeling it, dude. Not even feeling it. I don't feel this. This is a hoax. Fake news. Pot's not real." And then my dad came over.
Oh yeah, it went like that.
Yeah, gave me the old palm to the face.
And I went, ah!
Who fell right off the picnic table. Ah, that was so good.
Yeah,
the clowns.
The first time that I met you was like in the 3 days that we knew each other were like truly some of the most formative experiences in my life going forward, that I started laying that like new foundation where in the past is when you were a child and now you were becoming a man. And I'm like, every day after that was just paving these new experiences. Honestly, a lot of them had to do with like mind altering drugs
Yeah.
or drinking too much and puking on your sweatshirts and like sleeping in pine needles. But so much of it was just like confidently and excitedly walking further into the unknown.
Do
It
you
was a
think
great
this
time.
is such a wild idea, but do you think that's like our kind of like coming of age
Oh,
ritual,
absolutely. Yeah,
like the
absolutely. It
warrior
was like
story?
our yeah, it was our Holden Caulfield. Like
Yeah.
we had no thankfully we had like no nom anything like that where like we weren't sticking pennies in our shoes to qualify for the draft. Like that was the thing. Like back in like the
Yeah.
fighting the Confederacy, it's like kids were lying about their ages to prove that they were mature enough to do an adult thing. We were immature enough in a like very free time that we got to push every boundary around adults that had been taking acid in this, like the people that
The
like
best of the boomer
yeah, the
generation.
best of the
Yeah.
boomers took us in a very safe way and said, get violent, get crazy, do all these crazy things so that you get to explode your imaginations and go in these crazy directions. And I mean, most of the like most amazing people that I know have come out of this coddled like exploration area. Where like they weren't chastised for doing bad things. It's like do it, but be very careful. And we got your back.
The old don't get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, but we got your back. Like having adults that are willing to take care of you when you maybe take 18 shots of tequila when you're 16 years old and black out at a
And black out at a New Year's Eve party.
black out at a New Year's Eve party and not call your parents.
Not call your parents or the police.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was appreciated.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that it was a formative. I mean, that specifically was a super formative moment in my life because I'd been cloistered like a nun, in a convent until that
Yes.
point.
Yeah. Up until that point, I think you were not going to go down that hero's journey.
No.
Do you feel like the rest of your family didn't go down that hero's journey? I don't want to name names.
Yeah,
but
holy.
yeah.
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 Yeah. I have an older brother, and he did everything that your father would expect you to do as an older brother. That's like, toe the line, don't bring shame, like in a very like Euro, driven way. That's like, no, you go. You're not supposed to be testing boundaries and seeing if the fence is electrified. It's like, no, you just do exactly what they tell you to do. And my sister was very similar. Obviously, like her, like she didn't have to be corralled. She knew what she wanted to do. Like her entire drive was about success and pride and all that stuff. And I somehow found that middle lane of I was very afraid of shame, but more interested in testing the boundaries and seeing what I could get away with, and still not being vilified. I guess.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, I actually never had that like prideful moment. I thought that we were supposed to be like, I'll say my last name. The Browns were always supposed to be fucking outlaws, dude. Like that was what
You're the
was
savages.
expected. Yeah, no, that was
Even in a
like
town
yeah.
like Ipswich.
Oh yeah, no, that's what you're supposed to do. Like this is who you are. You're not supposed to, fit in. You're not supposed to be part of the status quo. Even though my dad was like a normal everyday working class guy, he always said like you're not supposed to be
Yeah.
towing the line. And you had said something so interesting to me, like it stood out to me so much on one of the other
Yeah.
my friend show questions. about
My friend show.
yeah, my friend Joe Scannable T, about not dishonoring the family
Yeah,
name.
yeah, and
I
like a
love that
yeah,
so much. Yeah, like
it's very
what does that
samurai.
even mean? Yeah, exactly. Like that's what it reminds me of. It's like
Yeah,
the samurai or that medieval code. What did the Atfields think about the family name now?
well now it's I don't know.
Have you sullied the family name? The
I
tartan?
think I think I think my hope is that my father's expectations of what like that whole thing mean like the weight of your name doesn't really it mean much anymore in like our like we've evolved beyond the name like your last name. Oh, you're married to a Johnson, you're married to a Smith. Oh, that's a great name in this community. But my father was a first generation American. um
From
White. He was white.
yeah, I was
He was
gonna
a
say
white first
not
generation
from
American,
Pakistan.
so
Yeah.
doesn't mean much. Yeah. Yeah. First generation with a British accent.
Yeah. So crushing it.
Yeah, so yeah, next level beyond American white. But yeah, that was a thing where every night as a high school aged youth, we were like, "Hey, Dad, we're going out tonight. I probably won't be back until the morning. We'll be safe, but I'm gone." He would say, "Have a great time, but remember, you're an Atfield." And that was how I was sent out of the house.
In high school?
Yeah.
Even so when you were coming to hang out with us,
Oh yeah.
you were reminded that you were an Atfield.
Yes.
And did that color your expectations for the evening, would you
Oh
say?
well, would you say it did?
No. I wouldn't say that that no, not necessarily,
I would say,
but at the same time, there were a handful of evenings where
yeah.
you
I
had
walked
a you
away.
had a rather not
Dude, well,
attitude.
can I
Yes,
can I give you an example?
please, yes, please
Okay.
do.
Once upon a time, I walked into a home with unnamed people who were funneling liquor, red liquor.
Yeah,
And I walked in, it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I said, "This is not going to end well." And so I promptly exited and went home because I was raised with an overwhelming sense of fear and guilt and shame with being involved with people that even if I was attracted to that idea, I was so afraid of of being caught doing something and hurting my parents.
that's such an interesting idea. I guess like my parents were always so, or not my parents, my dad specifically was always such like a almost like a force of nature. You know what I mean? Like I always looked at him and I was like, this guy might be the closest thing to indestructible that I know of.
Yeah.
And then I realized that was an absolute lie by the time I was like 19 when I was like, oh, he's fucking old
Yeah.
and he's not indestructible. But for the majority of my life, I always looked at the old man as like, this guy is absolutely
Yeah.
indestructible. And
Yeah.
all of those people, like I'm not going to name names, but all of those people that you know and I know are,
Yeah.
I consider them equally as like almost untouchable. You know what I
Yes.
mean? They were like golden gods.
I almost feel the opposite about my father. That especially it's super boomerish or whatever to like rewind the clock, but during the Iraq War and the Bush days, that was when like my dad was not a American citizen. Um,
Back in the Iraq Wars, he was not a citizen.
no, he never felt
Oh,
he never
I
felt
didn't
any.
know that.
Yeah, well, so he came to America from Great Britain, so it's not like he was a
Yeah, he was a
what
refugee.
most people consider a an immigrant, but he was a white immigrant from Britain. He moved to America in '82, I think, something like that. He had my brother, he had me, he had my sister. He started a business. At that time, he was still 100% a legal, resident, but still an alien. And then I feel like it was when Bush got into the presidency and we went to war with Iraq and Afghanistan that he started getting really scared about his place in America, and this feeling that it's like, if my political beliefs don't align with the current beliefs in the presidency, being like anti-war or whatever, that he was scared that he would kind of be called into question.
Yeah, like he would lose his place.
Potentially.
Yeah.
It's like he's never violated any law, but that became a thing for us because it hit right when me and my brother were 18-ish or whatever. We were at that age bracket where it was like, you're not allowed to go out drinking, because if you go out drinking and you get in trouble as a underage drinker, you're going to get in trouble and you're going to get me in trouble as an alien.
Yep.
So then I, as an alien, get sent home. I go away. Even though he had been in that country, our country for 20 years, he was like, you fuck up, I get fucked.
What an enormous responsibility to put on like 18-year-old kids who like don't know, and your older brother probably shouldered a lot of that. You were the younger, like as an older sibling, I always felt like we were like eating that, like just
but that's
eating.
But I think that's why, as somebody that knows my brother, like you can kind of see that in as few opportunities as you've had around him. Like my elder Ross was fearful of retribution, not from a physical way, but like shame is a very big part of our family.
Shame is the American way, dude. Like that's
that's
how you control your family, your children.
Yeah.
Like not in a good way. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not
very
really pro shame. I'm not really pro shame. I'm not gonna go out. I'm not gonna go on the record.
Ladies,
I hate being I hate the relative amount of shame that comes from like the Judeo-Christian undertones that are America, dude. Like there's too much of it. There's too much connotation built into like the fact that you would have to almost unwaveringly support the ideals that your family have, even if they're good or bad. Like that, I love my family, but they don't always have the best ideas.
Yeah.
Unlike me, I have the best fucking ideas
of course
that there are. But that's like but it's such a heavy burden to put on kids, and I think that with our boomer parents, we've been hating on boomers lately, but I think those boomer parents really, like, that was the parenting MO, was shame, responsibility.
Well, yeah, it's still like in line with like the Keeping Up with the Joneses, that everything is a competition between your neighbors, and it's like, how's Hank doing? Oh, well, he got this on his SATs, and and
fuck Hank.
And it's like, if you say fuck Hank, it's like, oh, so your kid's gonna be going into the trades? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, right. Yeah. But in reality, those were valid professions, and that's what we should have been pushing our kids to be doing. Yeah.
But it kind of doesn't matter at that like when you're inside that like competitive psychosomatic like nonsense, that it doesn't matter if you can reason your way out of it. If everybody else is in it, you just have to compete. And I think for my folks, that's sort of the lane that they had to choose. They didn't. My dad didn't know any way else. It was like, just throw money at the problem, throw money at the education, and it'll make them smarter.
And it'll make you better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? He was probably right.
Yeah. I turned out great.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Yeah.
I'm a dirtbag painter.
Finest grifter on the south side of Portland. Yeah. I mean, there's nobody better. But in like looking back on it, yeah, like the '90s, late '80s, '90s, and early 2000s were this
Yeah.
weird like competitive
Yeah.
landscape, and not to shift gears too much, but I know we talked about this earlier, where like coming out of that, I think that you and I were both leaning really like left
Mm-hmm.
politics,
Yeah.
and now I think you and I have both taken a real shift away from that.
Yes.
And I don't feel like the people, I don't feel like a lot of the people who were part of that same generation have taken that same shift to move away from those kind of liberal policies that are prevalent right now. Do you think that that type of environment that we grew up in has shaped those people into those beliefs? Deep cuts.
I think I 100% agree. I think that platforms
Not
like
the shoes.
I think platforms like what you're trying to create, what the internet has exposed our generation to, especially our generation, like my wife Megan is just beyond this. She's a Gen Xer. She's 4 years, which I think kind of goes to show the speed at which we're moving. My wife is 4 years older than me. She is just learning about like Instagram reels and
Yeah.
Facebook reels and shit like that. And she's like, "Oh, this is great. I can learn more about how to pot my plants." And I'm like, "No, I'm learning about
No, no,
revolutions in other countries on YouTube."
Yeah.
Like at this point, technology is moving so fast that we seem to maybe be at this really interesting inflection point where we have been in the analog. We've had like we've touched the digital. Like we kind of understand both places, so we can appreciate and respect where the boomers are coming from, and we can appreciate and sort of respect where like the hyper fringe left and the hyper fringe right, who have never known anything different than the digital. When all like the like like we've joked about like the TikTok, what's it called,
Yeah.
libs on TikTok.
Oh yeah, libs of TikTok.
Like I can 100% enjoy and still like respect and appreciate some of the views on like the libs on TikTok, whereas like a boomer will look at that and be like, "Oh my god, we're going into the mud."
This is it.
Like I've been in the mud in Nam. I don't want to go back into the commie mud.
Yeah.
Like I can see and respect both sides of this equation, which is a really hard place to be. Like I truly feel like we as this fringy non-conformist millennial political generation can sit on that part of the teeter-totter and go both ways and be like, I totally understand where Tucker's coming from. I totally understand where Don Lemon or what the fuck is coming from.
Don Lemon.
Not really.
No, fuck
not,
that guy.
Not really.
Yeah.
Tucker at this point has way more credibility than Don
And that's
Lemon.
a fucking stretch. So yes, yeah.
But we have saddled ourselves on like this media or independent media internet generation. I'm super, super excited and hopeful that more and more people continue to consume independent media. And I don't know if it's going to avert the next war, but it's as dystopian as the future seems. I'm mostly optimistic that we're going to get out of this because most of us are so curious.
Do you think it's most, or do you think it's a fucking scant minority that are, partaking in
Yeah.
fringe, podcasts and all of this other stuff, and that the majority of people, what I
Yeah.
consider us Silverback millennials. Trademark on that term. I'm the original
That's a
millennial.
shirt.
Yeah, I'm the original millennial.
Silverback
Yeah,
millennial.
silverback millennial, the original. But I don't I don't think that people are as aware as you think they are. I think people are, just milling about. Like most of my friends
Yeah.
that I work with outside of the people who are on my friend show, love those people. But outside of those people, most of them their direct quote is I want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
When you hear someone
Or
say I want to be comfortable,
yeah.
what does that make you think of?
Well, I mean, it's like we had a wonderful dinner tonight. We've had a great day. We
Delicious
came down to
pizza.
Massachusetts. Otto's Pizza. No, is that Flatbread Pizza?
Flatbreads.
Holler
Future
Flatbreads.
sponsor.
Future sponsor of the show. um, I think most people our age are open to change, but we're currently still governed by boomers. And my parents are boomers. I'm not saying
My
death to
parents are, yeah.
yeah, like we love the boomers, but it's kind of like how there's a lot of discussions about voters' rights and gun control and all these issues. It's like, shouldn't we not allow certain people to do certain things? Like, maybe we shouldn't let the boomers vote anymore. Maybe they shouldn't be running the government. Maybe there should be some sort of cognitive tests before you vote for your elected officials. Like if you don't understand how the world works, maybe you shouldn't be allowed to vote for the people that run the world. And I think we're
I
in
love that. I had a absolute wild idea the other day in the changing stall at the gym. I was in the
which is
changing
where
stall,
all of the
which is
most
all
important
great ideas come from, first and
yeah.
foremost. But I
Well,
had this idea. I was changing in the gym, getting ready for a free shower, and I thought to myself, where did all these where did all these pussies come from that came out of the free love generation? That was fucking revolutionary at its time. So were they all like why are some of them out there still waving the
yeah.
flag and saying we deserve freedom, and the rest of them are saying chain me up, dude?
Well,
And I thought to myself that, like all social phenomena, there are some people who believe it and others who just hop on the bandwagon.
oh sure, yeah.
Just like we see in all of the other social phenomena. I'm not going to name all of them, but when you look at certain social movements, there's plenty of people at the front who
Yes.
literally believe
Yeah.
that shit.
And they die for it.
And they fucking would die for it. And there are plenty who just think, hey, this is a fashion statement.
Yes.
And I firmly believe that the boomers right now who lived through the free love generation, who fought in Vietnam, who did all of those great things for this country, but didn't actually believe in it,
Yeah.
are the ones now who are saying, lock
Yeah.
me up,
Yeah.
dude.
Law me, daddy.
Law me daddy.
There are two things that I thought of was because what we were talking about earlier is I'm obsessed about like historical documentaries and stuff like that. When France was overthrown by the Nazis, there was a very small minority that were like revolting and fighting against the Nazis. As
Yes.
soon as that
What
Franco
were they called? Partisans?
I can't
I'm
even
pretty sure it's
remember.
just called partisans.
But
yes,
it became incredibly fashionable after the Nazis were overthrown to become a Franco revolutionary.
Yeah,
That they're like,
exactly.
here's another one. And what they were doing was they weren't going after soldiers. They weren't going after officers. They were going after women. They were going after people that were affiliated loosely with the Nazis and saying, I got another one. I got another one.
Yep.
And they were bringing them in saying, I'm part of the revolution. They were like these cowards that didn't stand up during the fight and instead grabbed somebody and said, you see, I'm with you.
Yep.
Afterwards.
And I feel like that's, I'm not saying that's what we're seeing now. It's like that no one is throwing anyone into, shackles and embroidering them with the scarlet letter. But at the same time, I see this like such a weird shift from like what's that fucking guy's name? Neil Young, dude? Was that who it was? Neil Young?
What's that man's name?
What's that man's name? Neil Young, right?
You mean the man that wrote a song about rocking in the free world?
In
and it was
the
like,
free world? Like, what, dude?
Nah,
oh my god.
I think we're gonna be
the
okay.
irony on that is
it is
too much.
Yeah, it almost is like parallel universe that people that
His
like
last tour was the Freedom of Speech tour.
Really?
That's what it was called. What?
Well, he's back on. Don't worry, he's back on Spotify.
He's back on Spotify, everybody. So are we, but fuck it. Like,
yeah,
this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I think we're just in a bit of a mental quagmire. We were talking about it earlier, off air or whatever. That's
what we call it in the business.
In the biz, I think a lot of it is. As much as I love our parents and that generation, and I mean, like I think we both venerate a lot of the boomer people that we love.
Yeah,
like we've talked about. There's a handful of people for years that we've held them as idols, and they have kind of let us down in the way that they've handled the last, I would say, 6 years. Pre-COVID.
You going Trump right now?
I'm going Trump.
Yeah, I see what you're going. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I think a lot of us were raised in an era where we were told as long as you kind of like maintain the course, there is a big plan, like we're building a movement. Obama, like I still remember the day that Obama got elected, and I was incredibly reluctant to vote for Barack Obama because I was very engaged with the system at that point.
Yeah,
and
you were in it.
Yeah, man. And when my guy was Kucinich, I was 100% on board with Dennis Kucinich because during the original primary for our generation, because I remember like quacking about when George Bush was getting elected, but we weren't eligible to vote.
We couldn't vote at that time. Yeah, that wasn't real.
Yeah, the first big vote of our generation was, are you voting for Obama or are you voting for McCain?
And that was a tough call. But I was just I'm sorry to interrupt you. No. I was actually like kind of like swept up in the original Obama movement.
Of course.
Like it excited me, dude. Like I was like fired up. I was like, oh, we might.
Yeah.
This motherfucker
this
might
is
do
it.
some change.
This is our Kennedy.
This is our Kennedy.
Yeah, this is our Kennedy.
Yeah, dude, I was fucking jazzed on that.
Well, because I 100%
and then
agree.
it was like a fucking.
Well, but all right, I kind of disagree that it was a complete.
It wasn't a complete fizzle.
Drop.
I know.
My issue was I was engaged even during like the primaries, and I listened to Obama, who was such an eloquent speaker, and I was so enthused. And then they'd be like, "And you little creepy midget from fucking, the land of Oz," and he was like, "Yes, and actually, my name is Dennis Kucinich."
Yeah.
and they would ask me questions like, "Oh, well, I've actually proposed something for this. I've actually tried to pass a law, but no one's going to vote for it." It's
Remember
like,
when he lashed that bitch Hillary Clinton, dude? Like multiple times. Just lash that bitch,
I'm not.
dude.
Well, I'm not even interested about the lashings.
I
Like,
know, but come
at
on.
that point, I was excited about the substance that somebody had to offer. That the entire apparatus was like, we don't care. You're unattractive. He was this. He had big ears. He was very stout. He just wasn't an appealing character, and they gave it to Obama. And for 8 years, you just weren't allowed to say anything negative, and that's when like Occupy happened.
Yes, I
That's
do remember
when
that.
the Dakota Access Pipeline happened.
Huh.
All of these things were happening on the left that I was like, what is going on? Like, that's when I was listening to Democracy Now.
Yeah.
I was super engaged with the left at that point. So I was like, we have to go farther. We have to push farther to the left. And meanwhile, every single person I knew was like, no, we already got a black dude as our president. Leave it alone and we'll just get better. And I was like, things aren't getting better. Things are getting worse.
Things are getting
Like, we're
worse.
still going to war.
2008.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
bailout happened where
And we
homeowners
got
lost their
lashed,
houses,
yeah.
and the entire financial system was just bolstered up. And I was just getting angrier and angrier. And if you listen to like mainstream media, they would say, "Oh, well, Neil Attfield has now been red pilled. He's now
Yeah.
gone to the right." And it's like, well, if the left isn't doing this for me anymore, where am I supposed to go?
Where am I supposed to go?
Yeah, I'm not anti-government. I'm anti all this horrible shit that the government is doing. And guess what? There's a Democrat doing it. I'm not a right-wing person. I just don't want this shit to happen anymore. I'm anti-establishment.
And then we got sick of the establishment, dude. We got so fucking tired of it. We lived through 2008. Some of us worked through 2008.
Yeah.
Yours truly. Like
Yeah.
we worked through 2008. It was a fucking nightmare.
We had babies during
We had
2008.
babies during
I started
2000
a business during
I don't.
2008.
I had a baby in 2012. You had a baby in 2012 or 13, but whatever it is, like yeah, we had babies in the recession,
Yeah.
and
We bought houses. We started our lives during all this
and
bullshit. And people
then-
said, all you got to do is keep on voting for Democrats.
and then we got a Democrat who gave a fuck, dude.
Bernie?
Sanders, dude. Bernie
Yeah.
Sanders came
And he
out
got
and he fucking
smoked.
spoke to people, dude.
Yeah.
He literally talked to me. He talked to you.
Yeah.
He ran a campaign that was funded by no one.
$27.
$27 donations. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Yeah.
Like that was magic.
It turned everybody back on.
And then
And then they
who fucking
kneecapped
crushed him? Who kneecapped him?
And what they did was they said, but guess what? I know you got kneecapped, but keep on supporting this machine.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you got fuck. And the worst part is, he fucking did it.
Yeah, he did.
He fucking
It sucks.
sold every
so bad.
single $27 donation. He sold those motherfuckers out. Yeah, don't leave.
Sorry.
Don't leave. Stay in.
I'm back.
Stay in. Come
No.
on. I know I got the good
I'm
chair.
trying to figure out. I've never done this before.
I got the good chair. But he sold every person out who donated $27.
Yeah.
Sold them out. And then to top it all off, Trump still won. Fuck that guy. No better. I'm not here to say that Trump is a better individual. We went through 4 years of Trump that were relatively peaceful and prosperous.
Shockingly peaceful, actually.
Peaceful and prosperous.
In retrospect,
Hindsight,
2020,
2020.
I know nobody's gonna like this, but in retrospect, I've said this to Donald. I know this is gonna bring some
Present.
heat.
Yeah.
I truly believe that Donald J. Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize because he, for whatever reason, it might be that he is just so incompetent, but I truly believe as a United States president, Barack Obama does not deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. He has done nothing to deserve that. Donald Trump never started a global war. Give that motherfucker the Nobel Peace Prize, please.
Never started a global war, generated a decent economy. There were, certainly some locker room talk controversies that, you know what, grab her by the pussy. I got a problem with that too. I'm not grabbing her by the pussy, but we have to move on from that shit.
He's a
guys.
married man.
We all say bad shit. I say bad shit all the time. It's not appropriate. I understand.
Yeah.
I digress.
We say we have to break out of this left-right dichotomy. It's got to go. It's done. We're done. We're done here.
But all right, fuck Donald Trump. Then you move to 2020, 2021. When did we vote? Whenever the fuck it was.
Hopefully soon.
2020, 2021. Bernie also is driving a serious campaign, even though he is a skin suit of a human at that point.
Well, and he went like completely identity politics.
Yeah, he did. You know what? All right, we all got our thing. He fucked up.
No. No. Don't be so gracious. May I?
No, please.
I'll make it brief. Bernie Sanders was 100% class warfare in the original campaign. It was all about the actual problem. It was us versus them. He was an anti-establishment candidate. It was not about being woke. When he got back in the last election, it was about LGBTQ, it was black and white, it was all of the bullshit that is fake. He was anti-establishment. If he ran on that shit, he would win. He did not let them.
But they wouldn't let him run anti-establishment. In my opinion, dude, like his best bet at that point was to run on the LGBTQ and to run on the black and white hate that they want to foment.
They're not going to let him.
They're not going to let him run. Dude. He's too old now. He's never going to get his chance. But in reality, like they want, if he was going to win, he was going to do it by fomenting that type of sentiment.
I disagree.
I know.
He's a classical Marxist.
He is a classical Marxist, which is fucking terrible. Yeah.
No, it's not terrible.
It's not good.
But if you can do it the way that.
Then like Marx? Dude,
Marx
was the worst theorist ever.
No. It's this idea of this new mutation where it's, I'm a socialist, but I'm also a capitalist. I respect industry. If you can just target the highest philanderers, like everybody can agree that Amazon makes too much. Everyone can agree that Tesla is taking these corporations that are pillaging.
I'm gonna provide a counterpoint to this. So, but continue.
Oh, you're a Tesla investor?
I don't own any Tesla stock.
Full disclosure. We only buy crypto.
Yeah,
we only buy crypto.
Scan it, baby. Yeah. But in the global scheme of things, the people who work for Tesla, Amazon, including Jeff Bezos and Elon. I don't know what his fucking name is. Elon Musk, dude. Those guys pay a shit ton in taxes.
And I agree.
Their corporations
don't
pay taxes for a reason. And what's the reason?
Loopholes.
No, not loopholes.
Yes.
The reason they don't pay taxes is because we want to encourage them as a system to reinvest in their people. It might not work, but
reinvest in their people. How much are their people getting paid?
I don't know.
$14 an hour. While they're wearing cell phones that track every move, so that if they pee too long, they get fired.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I don't want them philandering with my money.
Apparently, we have met the divergence because I'm
kidding.
Hard on labor rights.
Really, like labor rights is where you draw the line, and
yes.
I am too. Like I think labor is, the only thing left that the ditch digger has to offer to society. Not saying that's a bad thing, but there there are only so many jobs that human beings can do
Yeah.
without advanced degrees,
Yeah.
without advanced training. So if you want to limit those jobs or take them away with technology,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck are we supposed to do with those people?
Kill them.
Kill them.
You can kill
Yeah,
them.
I mean that's the easy way out, Neil.
We have to create a machine
That
that
eats them.
it's the Matrix,
The Matrix.
which we're
Ah,
nearly
pump them in.
there.
Yeah.
We are nearly there.
Pump them into the Matrix.
As long as we can feed humans into the Matrix that are useless.
Have you heard of the metaverse?
Now we're back,
And we're
baby.
back.
Which is where we are now in the metaverse.
See how easy that is? Welcome to the real world, Neo.
Take your dick out of your hands.
Yeah, watch out. No, but I'm surprised that you draw the hard line on labor rights, that you actually care about those people. Why?
Because they're not like they're a cog in the wheel, man. Like
I understand they're a cog in the wheel.
We had a lot of talk earlier today about how hard it is to get to this wonderful place on the mountain that we're at, where we're not
lower middle class is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, by wonderful place on the mountain, I mean the lower middle class.
Tell me about lower middle class, folks.
It's I will tell you about the lower
It's
middle
nice.
class.
It's actually nice. Yeah.
If I could define the lower middle class, and I'm gonna look right in your eye, it's an incredible place, and it's very recent for me. In the last year, I was able to eliminate all debt.
Yeah.
I don't have debt. I own a house. I own 2 cars. I have 3 children. My wife does not work. I am self-employed. Nobody owns me.
Can I ask you a question? None of that has to do with labor rights.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
It 100%
you
does.
worked for all that, too.
No, I didn't. Well, I mean, I worked, but like
you're a small business owner.
Yeah, but not without leverage. Like I have had hand ups or whatever they call it. You know, people helped me.
Let's not talk about hand jobs, okay?
Hand jobs. Well, we already talked about hand
I
jobs.
have had hand jobs.
Off-air hand jobs.
No one
not
likes
good.
them. Yeah.
No, but it's so important.
I don't know if it is.
I don't want anybody to feel like where they
I'm wrong.
are
I could be wrong.
is where they have to stay forever.
Oh no, they shouldn't. They shouldn't feel like that.
But that's what debt does.
Oh yes, yeah, that's what bad decisions do.
No.
That would be like, oh hey, that's what drugs do.
No.
Drugs are debt. Debt is drugs.
Yeah, but saying you're in this because of your habits eliminates a lot of like the larger, you know.
No, the systemic issues.
Yeah, the systemic
you're
issues.
right. You're right. There are.
So
I am being a bit insensitive there.
So that's why even as like,
but where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line?
I guess like I do nothing. Like somebody that like I mean here's a great I feel like in so many ways my existence can be used as an example of both a positive and a negative. That for a long time I was a truly like do nothing. Like I could and only because I knew as long as I didn't burn too many bridges, either my parents and family connections would bail me out in some way. Not that like people would just feed me money. If I could do something on merit, you know, if I could, I have skills. I could paint and stuff like that. So I could paint my way out of a problem. Or if the sky was falling and I was trying my best, there was always somebody there to hold me up. And so many people that are in these menial jobs either don't have anybody that could hold them up if they fall, or don't have anybody that believes in them enough to say like, here's $2,000, which we've both been there, man. Like
Which
now,
is real money.
I'll be honest. Nowadays, I am not rich, but $2,000 is not a lot of money to me. Okay, full disclosure. Like I will accidentally misplace $2,000, and I'm not rich.
What?
Yes,
I won't.
because
I
I'm also
won't.
just irresponsible.
I won't. Yeah.
But when I didn't have any money and when I was in the hole, $2,000 was the world. Like
Yeah.
missing a payment, and all of a sudden you have another $65 in fines and stuff like that. It mounts on top of itself and it becomes like a crushing avalanche of weight.
It is.
And that's why I'm very sympathetic to like that worker mentality of like they don't know how to climb above it because everything is stacked against them.
Do you think they don't know how to work or to climb against it, or do you think they don't want to do it?
I think they don't know how to do it. I think the machine is so big that they can't.
Really?
Yes. If you
Because
were
I have fought that machine my whole
No.
fucking life, dude.
I don't think you have.
Really?
Yes. And I love you.
I love you too.
I love you. Have
Please.
you ever been I think our version of what the machine is has evolved so far in the last few years. When we were younger, when we were children, Amazon didn't exist.
True.
When we were in our teens, Amazon sold books.
Yep.
When we are in our 20s, people started signing up for Amazon Prime because of free shipping.
Yeah.
And now every like suburb has an Amazon warehouse that basically has sleeves.
Yeah.
So in our half of a generation, it's gone from a Kindle store to a slave market.
Yes.
Imagine if you are growing up and now you're working for Amazon.
So
You're in the mines.
Now
you're
let's,
mining.
Now let's take a separate angle here. Let's take a contrary opinion here. Let's say that you're trying to better yourself and that you want to make a little extra money.
Don't work for Amazon.
Maybe you do work for Amazon though, because it's a gig economy and you don't give a fuck about Amazon, and all you're doing is working for them till you've made the money that you want from them, and then you move on.
No.
Why not? Maybe you
Amazon is not a gig economy.
It sure is, dude.
No,
They
it's
actually
not.
have a very specific organization where you're just a delivery driver. Just like
You're
when-
not just a delivery driver.
just when I was
delivery
broke,
driver-
dude. When I was broke,
buddy.
I used to drive for DoorDash and work for EBSCO.
Yes, I understand that. I think you're living. I think our idea, even what a generation is, doesn't make sense anymore. Like I think in early, like everything is moving so fast. I think people would say like a generation is 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then a
Or
new
whatever it
generation
is,
starts, and then a new generation starts. I think because of technology, even the idea of what a generation is, because of how fast technology is moving, is fractioning almost. So it's like a generation is now 5 years because technology is speeding up so fast. And so people that are joining Amazon are they're professionally so young compared to where you were when you were 18 years old. If someone signs up for Amazon when they're 18, they're basically signing up for indentured servitude for the rest
Really?
of their life. Yes.
I'm skeptical.
No,
on
no,
that.
no.
I'd like to see some
Hear me out.
documentation
Hear me
on
out.
it. I'd like to see some
Hear me out.
documentation on it.
Hear me out. Well,
Oh no, I believe you.
okay.
But I'd like to see some documents.
I know, and which I don't have. This isn't
Alleged.
okay. This is all allegations and presuppositions. However, this is my thesis.
Hot take.
We are both very pro worker, like experienced type of people. Like whether it's labor, like what I do, or what you were doing before getting into the professional track, where it was service industry stuff, where it's like
It's also labor. Yeah, those are both labor
totally,
jobs. Yeah.
totally. But the idea of working your way up, like the American idea of like you're starting from the bottom somewhere and you're sort of like you're chiseling your way up. Don't look at that fucking thing.
I know. I saw it.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Shame.
It's fucking Apple Watch.
I did it.
Android.
This is an Android watch right here,
That's
folks.
the Android watch. Oh, knuckles.
Mostly knuckles.
Raw knuckles.
Raw knuck.
Yeah. I believe that things are moving so fast that children that are taking labor jobs, such as Amazon,
Okay. Yeah.
it's not synonymous with sub shop. Like flipping burgers and bagging groceries. Like
But those sub shop jobs are still available.
yeah, but so are Amazon jobs.
All right, don't take that job then.
Well, it's easy. It's easy for you to say.
No, it's not easy
as a
for me to
upper
say
middle
that.
class trans
so-
Arab.
We need to understand that's a joke, but that's not easy to say. Actually, like none of those jobs are easy. Like
Yeah, but-
doing
but-
those
but-
jobs is hard.
But you graduate from one of them.
No, not really. You do them till you say, "Oh, this job fucking sucks," and then you move on to the next shitty version. Those aren't graduations.
I don't know if that's what an Amazon job is.
Oh, I don't. Well, it may just be the next evolution in shitty jobs. No one should look at Amazon and be like, "Oh, I'm going to be a delivery driver. This is going to be dope." It's going to suck.
Yeah.
No one should look at that and be like, "This is my job.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so fulfilled."
But maybe
No,
that's-
you're not. Joke's on you, motherfucker. It's going to suck.
But maybe that's like we were talking about this before with the idea of in this COVID economy that all of a sudden the idea of being a career host at a restaurant
Not
may
a
not
real
have been a
job.
strong
Yeah,
investment.
not a job. Not a job, dude. Not a real
Like,
job.
bro, you gotta diversify.
Gotta maybe make some significant investments in your future. I'm not saying that working for Amazon is a bullet in the head. I'm saying it's not
I am.
going to be a real career unless you want to be a developer, a sales guy. Do you want to be in sales? Because sales is for degenerates. So if you're interested, I can teach you how to be a fucking sales guy at Amazon. It's for fucking scumbags. Welcome to the club. But if you want to be a delivery driver, no, dude, you're not. No, that's not a real job.
That is not a career.
That's flipping burgers in the fucking desert of 2022. Welcome to the real world. Facts.
Mad Max.
Mad Max facts.
Mad Max get vaxxed.
Mad Max, yeah, facts.
That's a new shirt. Scan
Yeah,
it.
scan it. Mad Max, yeah, facts.
Actually, it's kind of weird. I'm wearing a
You
t-shirt.
have a QR code right there
Kinda-
for sure.
Except mine's made out of vegetables.
Yeah, those are vegetable QR code.
The shirt is 12 years old, and it looks like a QR code.
No, it goes to the Buxton Town Hall. Goes to Buxton, Maine Town Hall. You can pay your taxes there.
It's kind of funny. It does look like a QR code.
It does. Sure does. Oh, jeez. Well, what God, what
I
else
feel like
do you have?
It's only 2 questions, I think. We talked about my family shame,
We talked about you shaming your family and
my
really, like,
fringe,
ruining it.
my fringe
Your fringe. I still think
geopolitical
you-
ideas.
you're more of a liberal than I am.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
basically
But I've been impressed by how much of not a liberal you are these days. Because I've always been a fringe candidate.
Well, we talked about it earlier that I was so disheartened.
Crushed.
Yeah, I was crushed during like the Obama candidacy. And I still remember it. Full disclosure, I guess. I did not want to vote for Barack Obama. I did not agree that he should be the president.
First time around or
First
second
time.
time? First time around?
First time, and people were fucking furious because it was coming off the Bush years, and I didn't care. I was really angry.
I
at it.
love the Bush.
I bet you do.
Carry on.
I was a Kucinich guy, and
I still don't even know who that is.
look him up, dog.
I gotta
Yeah,
Google that.
Google it.
I gotta Google
Duck,
it.
duck, go it. DDG.
I'm a DDG guy.
I was just, it bummed me out. It made me really bummed that, like, it was the first time that people were shaming me for saying I don't like who our party is putting up, and I was shamed into it, and I voted for Obama the first.
Did you?
Yeah, I voted for Obama
I
the
did
first
too.
time,
I did too.
and then I was in Costa Rica, and I still remember it was the greatest day ever. We were high on cocaine and partying at a club, and
Best day ever.
in this third world country, and then the inauguration happens, and people went ape. I mean, people went absolutely ballistic.
Like in a good way?
Oh, people went wild.
Like it was the like the
It was-
world was changing.
Yeah, I'm in.
Wonder.
I'm like it was a dirt town on the southern Caribbean coast of Costa Rica.
What did they expect? Like money was gonna come raining down? Like
I
why
don't
was
know.
everyone so fired up?
I don't know, but you would go into any town and they would say, "Are you an American?" I'd say, "Yeah,"
See,
and they'd say, "Did you vote for Obama?"
twice.
And I was like, "Yep." No, twice. He hasn't even ran once.
Yeah,
I've already voted twice.
twice.
Yeah.
See,
And they would say, "All right." That's like they were so excited, and I was with my friend Michelle, and we met. We had met another American, and we did a bunch of drugs, and we were at this bar, and Obama. It was confirmed that he was elected, and he walked out on stage in Chicago to do his acceptance speech, and it felt like the entire world was just rumbling, like everybody just exploded, and the bartender was just running around pouring drinks in people's mouths.
what in the world?
It was the wildest experience ever because it was this vagabond culture. It was all these hyper liberal people that felt like this was this cosmic shift. We have this new young black president. He's going to change everything. People were just screaming, Obama! They were going nuts. They were going absolutely nuts. And I remember, even in that moment, I was so excited, and still, I was like, I didn't even want this dude to win. It's like this guy's.
And then the CIA showed up and overthrew the government.
yeah. Well, people did.
That happened.
People did get killed in that town.
Yeah, everybody died.
Yeah, there were definitely some knife fights in that town. Whatever. Never mind. More stories.
War stories. All right, let's try to round it out with a final question here. I'm pulling from the archives. I don't have much here in front of me, but I guess we should probably go. Well, we should really touch on your motivation. You're arguably one of the most motivated people that I know. And
Thanks. That's really nice.
No, it is. It's true.
Thanks,
you
man.
you have been motivated to do things that 99.98% of people wouldn't do. And I picked that number because that's the survival rate for
COVID.
Remember? Survival rate of COVID.
Yeah.
Right
Don't get
down.
vaxxed.
Don't get vaxxed. Well, I mean, do you? But
Do your own research.
Yeah.
Research.
DYR.
Do your own
Do your
research.
research. Do your own research.
We're out of
But-
whiskey. We have run out of whiskey.
But I like to ask questions of the other hosts about how people are supposed to, get motivated. What do you do to get motivated? Why have you been able to, it wasn't a successful venture, but it was
Yeah.
a successful venture. The farm
Yeah,
was
the farm.
successful. You farmed goods, dude, for 2 fucking years. Maybe 3. Was it 2 or 3?
Nearly 3.
Nearly 3. Well, allegedly 3.
Pulled the plug on year 3.
Pull the plug on year
It
3.
was either I'm pulling the plug on the farm or I'm pulling the plug on myself.
Well, you know what? We're getting dark.
That's okay.
But how did you get motivated to do that, but also navigate that self shame that we heard so much about before? Like, how did you not sully the Attfield name, or is the Attfield name so tied to that type of personal determination that there was no option? Deep cuts.
Yeah. I.
I can edit these long pauses
Sorry.
out.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying not to be super long. I'm I I'm super prideful.
Would you say to a fault? Because I am prideful to a fault.
Yeah.
I am like the most proud person I know. Absolutely. To a fault.
Yeah, yeah. I feel pretty prideful. Um I don't want to fail. It's like if not I don't know, this is tough. It's a tough question.
It is. It's a deep question.
I've had like we've talked about this a lot. So I'm trying to figure out how to say what I want to say. I well, all right. I knew that it was time to stop and I wanted to kill myself.
That's a hard thing to come to, dude.
But it's still at that point, like you're like, but realistically, will I do it?
Right?
And so it took a long, long time. But like we've talked about before, so it's not like I'm not revealing anything new. But like I didn't realize that a lot of my friends, when I had this conversation later, that like a lot of them had never wanted to kill themselves, and that I think that was when I started to realize how bad of a place, like I had gone beyond trying, and now I was scared to stop because I was too ashamed to do it. So it was like, okay, I can die and then never accept failure. And maybe that kind of bleeds back into like the first conversation that we had where it
The
was like,
Attfield name.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Atfield name type of stuff where it was like, don't disappoint your father
Yeah.
type of thing. Um,
And in reality, it should be fuck that guy, dude.
no, man.
No, he's a nice guy, dude. But in
No, yeah.
reality, it should be.
Well, it's not.
Like,
Yeah, it's not about
you
him. It's about
don't
you.
owe those people
Yeah.
anything, dude. I don't owe those people anything, dude. I love them,
Yeah.
but I don't owe them anything, man. And I've spent a long time, like a lot of my life, feeling like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I owe these people something.
Yeah.
Like oh, I have fucked up. I fucked up.
Yeah. But when you
I'm a savage, you know. I'm out here in the wilderness.
yeah, but when you get to a like you're hitting adulthood, you're trying to figure out your own path, and you've already got that driver inside of you saying, like, from that started as don't fuck up my legacy as a youth by drinking too much and getting an
Yeah.
OUI to you take that same mentality into something that you are passionate about and you're like don't fail because your failure is you.
Your own name.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's even worse.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, I'm gonna sully my good name,
Yeah.
not my dad's
yeah.
name,
Yeah.
my name,
Yeah.
like the Neil.
And
Attfield
if that's
brand.
all you are, and that's a failure, then like you're nothing.
Yeah, but that brings up that like phenomenal Teddy Roosevelt, man in the arena quote, where it's like, there's always a critic, dude. There's always
Sure.
someone who is going to say that you can't do it. I would rather die in the arena than not do it at all. Like that's the Reader's
Yeah, and
Digest version.
yeah, and like, and honestly, like even going into the idea of trying to start a small scale, like hyper intensive farm, like the odds were so stacked against me from the onset without even understanding like the business side of it.
The economics
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
ecology, really. Like
For
they were
for
both
me,
challenging.
yeah, for me it was a very like Atlas moment where like like
Herculean
it was
task.
like yeah, and not, and I'm not trying to like in a non like congratulatory way. The way that I looked at that entire endeavor, which was 3 years of my life, was if I throw every ounce of my being at this, it must succeed.
Yes.
It's not that it could.
Yeah.
It's
No, it
that,
has to.
yeah, it's like I am going to blow a hole in this earth.
Yep.
And that's that. And when it's done, either I'm not going to be here anymore or there's going to be massive hole.
Craters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know, man. It's a hard one.
It is.
I'm so happy that I I mean, it was every ounce of my being for 3 years.
For 3 long years, too.
Yeah, and everyone was super supportive. Uh,
I wrote you a nice email. Everyone, remember that.
I can't really remember the.
Oh, it was very articulate.
No, not the email, not the email. The question. I can't. I'm sorry. I kind of got sidetracked.
I don't remember. We'd have to rewind at this point, but I think it was mostly along the lines of something about how do you stay motivated against your same desire to uphold the family name, like something along those lines. Like, how are you supposed to stay motivated? Which is a big topic out there
Yeah.
in the metaverse. Like, people want to be motivated.
Yeah.
They don't understand how challenging it is
Yeah.
to literally put one foot in front of the other. And you, as a champion of no, you've done things that most
Oh,
people
thanks.
can't do. You have put yourself out there. You tried to start. Well, you not only tried to start, you did start a successful small business, and then tried to start one that was arguably ill-founded.
Psychotic.
Psychotic for the region. Psychotic for the region.
Don't go farming.
Yeah, don't go farming on 1 acre in Buxton, Maine, folks. That's not a good idea. But how does someone in that position stay motivated to do it?
Yeah.
And then how do you grapple with that against sullying the Attfield name, which is, meaningless, but
Well,
it's a
how
shit
dare
name.
you? As a Brown?
Yeah, hey,
As a
hey,
Brown.
we're low-class citizens, man. We like it. We like it at the bottom.
That's hard, man. That's hard. I feel like we're in a very challenging time where there's so much being flooded on, especially young people. Like, it seems like the opportunities are boundless at the same time that we understand that everything is becoming more and more expensive and restrictive, that we're trying to figure out our place in this like constricting world. And I want everybody to have the opportunity to reach their full potential. But it's so hard as you get older and you realize how dangerous debt is,
Yep.
which I had never experienced before because of wherever I came from, like a place of a privileged home that I graduated from a great college and I never had any debt. I moved out into Seattle a did, the degree, job, everything kind of just floated from one thing to the next, and I still had hopes and dreams of doing something beyond myself. And maybe part of that was because I never really experienced financial consequence before. So I don't know how you give that blessing and curse to a young child without breaking them. So I've probably felt more like emotionally damaged and on the edge because of my choices than like a lot of my peers that never had debt and just decided to stay the course. But I've also had a hell of a lot easier than someone that hasn't had all of the great benefits that I've had. I don't know, man. I think everybody gets they get their lot, and you take it as far as you fucking can, or you're willing to do it.
Ride that pony.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not special. I just took some calculated risks.
Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in to my friend show, Deep Cuts. This is Neil Attfield and Donald Brown. XOXO. Good night.
This land was made for you and me. They told Elijah McClain as he lay in the street, fear in his veins, blood on his teeth, nowhere to go but down. That's right, Elijah. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. Set in a Texas draw from a leather seat. Protesters swarming outside in their funny pink hats, bawling their eyes out, yeah. Don't worry, ladies, this land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me, as a citadel, a sanctuary from all the evils of the world. And we can run it down just like that. God's hand on our back, and you tell me, baby, who this land was made